Hello everyone, this is going to be a teaching video. I'm going to show you a couple of things on October the 2nd. I just came back from London where I taught fixed stars, and we will have a couple of interesting fixed star placements with the sun today as well. So the moment I'm finishing this video, I'm going to post it for you. And let's take a look at the chart itself. And why am I doing this? Anyhow, here's the chart. This is for Budapest for noon, and I decided not to redo it in English, I mean for London, because it doesn't really matter, because again, we are not going to look at the midheaven or the ascendant. We're concentrating on conjunctions. Today is October the 2nd, and the number 2 is about how you can work together, how you can accept someone. It's the so-called receiving skills or something like that. So it's if you have a 2 in your numeroscope, if you are born on the 2nd, or any number that starts with 2, so 20th, 21st, and so on. 11 is a little bit different, but anyhow, so the number 2 shows that you need to comply, you need to be with someone, you need to reciprocate energies. And here you are with that many conjunctions, and we are going to take those apart in a second. So this is it. Only the conjunctions we are going to look at. The sun is conjunct Pallas Athena. Pallas Athena is, of course, she denotes wisdom, and wisdom indeed in thinking. Pallas Athena was Zeus's daughter, who sprung out of his head, fully grown, with a shield and a helmet, and fully finished, so to speak. And yeah, she is serving his father and also the city of Athens. So she's a protector, and at the same time, she is the goddess of wisdom. And today the sun is infusing it with energy. If you take a look at the moon is separating from a conjunction with Jupiter, and that must have been about 10 hours earlier, so in the small hours of the 2nd of October. And Jupiter moon is always about how you can nurture, how you can be a big soul, a lucky soul, so to speak. And now the moon is applying with a conjunction to Uranus. And Uranus is about change and, of course, chaos and anarchy as well. So now the moon is highlighting Uranus, the change. And yes, everything is in change. Venus Juno is interesting because now finally Venus is speeding up a little bit, as it was turning around before, from turning retrograde into direct. It slowed down really considerably, so it was actually much slower than Juno. And now it's picking up speed and leaving Juno. And just recently, I mean a day ago, you probably heard that the American administration decided to give a 45-day grace period with the this financial crisis that is always happening in the United States. And what they did was they took out the $6 billion that should have been given to Ukraine as helping them. So what you see here is that Juno, which is covenants and pacts, and so besides, of course, the First Lady, it also means that you have contracts and pacts and agreements. And Venus is the money in this respect, and so they are separating. That's quite a fascinating story up in the sky. Austria Vesta is still very tight, as I said, up till the first week of November. You will have this conjunction, but now they are slowly separating. So we have another month before they actually finally separate for a while. And let's concentrate on karma breaking and destiny changing. There is a triple conjunction with the South Node Mars and Lilith. Lilith is the asteroid Lilith, which is the first turning point in the Lilith myth, when Lilith says, I don't want to be below you. So this is the revolt against injustice. Mars, of course, is is the fighter, the war lord, but in Libra it emphasizes diplomacy and talks. Finally, hopefully, peace talks will start because Europe won't survive another war. And let me tell you that at the moment, I just heard this morning that in Russia there is an overall practice or some sort of what shall we do when we are being struck by an atomic bomb. So something really interesting in a negative way. So they are preparing. Putin thinks that the West is going to shed his country, and this looks really bad for us in Europe. So anyhow, the South Node means this is what we need to leave behind, this type of behavior, and we should concentrate on the North Node, our task, destiny choice for this particular period, which is learn to fight. Aries, learn to self-assert, learn to go out and have some say in the matters that interest you. And of course, Aries means drastically altered outward circumstances. So our destiny choice now is to accept and realize these terrible times and to do something for ourselves, to be really selfish. And as you can see, the Pluto is still making a very tight karmic cage. Mars is and also Lilith are applying. At the moment, the nodes, of course, go backward. Pluto is also retrograde, so you will have this, for a couple of more weeks, and then they will slowly move out of it, of course, because then when Pluto turns around, they will separate. But at the moment, Dark Moon Lilith is conjunct Pluto, and Dark Moon Lilith is the second turning point in the Lilith myth when Lilith accepts Yahweh's curse. And leaves the Garden of Eden. And Pluto is the significator of power and transformation, but also the plutocracy, so the powers behind the powers, the ones that are, so the money man and the big corporations and these shadow figures who really want power over everyone, every soul on earth. And the fact that Dark Moon Lilith is conjunct Pluto simply means that they don't care. They don't care what will happen to us. They just couldn't care less. Okay, why did I say, hold on a second. I made a mistake here. Hold on. This is South Node, of course, and this is North Node. I apologize. I mean, I came home last night from London, and you can hear my voice is still breaking up a little bit because I haven't, as we say, I haven't sung this morning yet. So you can hear my voice a little bit rusty, so to speak. Anyhow, yeah, so it was quite early when I finished this thing. Anyhow, so yeah, and then the West Austria, we spoke about this. So this is the picture. And as I was looking at it, of course, the karmic cage I showed you a couple of times, there was an interesting configuration. I thought first we have it, but no, because it would have been a tense trapeze with squares and semi-squares and sesquiquadrates. The base would have been the sesquiquadrate, but it's a little bit out of orb. So much out of orb, in fact, that the two semi-squares are not closing in another third semi-square, but in a septile, which is 51 degrees and 27 minutes. So actually, this configuration is not really a configuration, unfortunately. You should always be wary when you see different aspect families forming something, but because then you have to calculate whether or not the individual aspects could be there and could be a little bit wide, but the configuration is not going to close. Here are here's something else. Okay, hold on. The talent triangle. And here's what you have. There are two trideciles and one biquintile. These are the two trideciles. The trideciles are made up 108 degrees. What is made of 108 items? Any beads or vehicle that you use for praying, because all these have 108 little beats. But because by the time you finish your prayers, you are transported into a higher state of consciousness, or an altered state of consciousness. So in karmic astrology, 108 degrees, a tridecile denotes talents that come to you when you have an altered state of consciousness. All the members of the so-called quintile series describe various talents and ingeniousness. The problem is that they don't have energy in them. So you might have a ton of aspects like this, but nothing happens because you don't realize that you are talented in anything. If and whenever they form a triangle or any other configuration, it is much easier to manifest them. You have this triangle here, which hopefully manifests. The 144 degrees, the biquintile, denotes talents and ingeniousness that you have acquired during your full incarnation cycle in which you are in at the moment, which may denote 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 lives, and maybe 40 lives. We never know. It doesn't matter how many lives you lived within an incarnation cycle, but the 144 degrees, the biquintile describes such talents. So this is an interesting triangle, because the double trideciles suggest that you need to go up there to download it. And let's see what. First of all, we do have two transcendental objects, which are going to add, of course, but you have Sun, Jupiter, which is personal luck, Sun, Pluto, which is personal power and transformation, and then Pluto, Jupiter, which is the very best combination of planets, because it is the super success combination, because Jupiter enlarges everything it touches, and nothing is ever enough for Pluto. So the combination is really brilliant. So this is a brilliant talent triangle. We add Pallas Athena for wisdom, and we add the dark moon Lilith, which is, as I explained, the acceptance of the curse. So it makes it quite funny. Here are the transcendental objects, and I'm going to start now with Jupiter and Pluto first, and then we are going to take a look at the Sun. On Jupiter, you still have Albion. Albion is the figure of the British Isles, some sort of Adam Cadman figure who dissects himself into 4 equal parts in order to create mankind. And on Pluto, you still have the two TNOs, or centaurs, actually, Aureus and Amicus. Aureus is mitigated punishment, and Amicus is nothing is sacred, I want to win. That's what's happening among plutocracy, so to speak, among the powers that are really trying to govern and rule and overpower us. And then on the Sun, Pallas Athena, you have Dione, young love, young innocent relationships, hubris, revolt against what the gods allotted for us, make or makey, which is an interesting TNO. It denotes, if you have it prominent, it denotes that your soul has been torn apart, and now you wish to reintegrate those soul particles that flew away from you, and you need to reach them. So we need to rearrange ourselves. That's what the space-time moment suggests. And we have two fixed stars, Diadem and Vindemiatrix. And I was just teaching fixed stars for my London group, where as I was writing the handout for them, I came across, I made a list much earlier, but this is something that I really ponder a lot about, how you will have stars which are very, very close to each other in astrological degree. But of course, they could be elsewhere. They could be anywhere in the night sky, sometimes on the southern hemisphere, sometimes up north. Such a pair is Betelgeuse and Polaris, and they're totally different stars. But these give us so-called choice pairs, and we are going to look at it. But just before we do that, take a look that Vindemiatrix is Epsilon Virgo, which is the 5th brightest star within the constellation Virgo. It has a magnitude of 3, while Coma Berenice, Diadem is Alpha Coma Berenice, an alpha star with a magnitude of 4.3. So this is what I always emphasize, that whether a star is alpha, beta, gamma, delta, or epsilon simply means that within the constellation you are the brightest, second brightest, third brightest, and so on. But it's the absolute magnitude that gives you the brightness itself. So here are Vindemiatrix and Diadem as a choice pair. And as you can see, they are aligned with the sun. Vindemiatrix, of course, is a zodiacal constellation star. It is the left hand of Virgo, the maiden, and the right hand is Spica or Spica with the wheat shaft. So it's like giving, life-giving, nurturing energy. And Vindemiatrix is the Virgo, the Virgin's fruit-picking hand. And this is a euphemism of having a good time, enjoying the fruits of life. Whereas Diadem, Alpha Coma Veronicae, denotes quietly done sacrifices made of either altruism or just because you want to be good, you want to be nice, you don't flaunt it, you don't tell it to anyone. And these two stars make a choice pair. What is a choice pair? When you have them both on something important, in this case, it's the sun itself today, on the 2nd of October, and it represents a choice in your life, whether you want to be an altruistic giver, Diadem, who leaves things behind, who wants to give, who wants to make sacrifices, whole life is about sacrifices, or you want to enjoy life, Vindemiatrix, or you want to enjoy physical life at its maximum. So that is a choice pair, and of course you can incorporate both in your life. So that's the trick, how to do it, how to learn both. And there's another talent triangle, and this time it is 2 biquintiles and the quintile. So this is more solid, so to speak, because as again, I said, as biquintiles denote talent and ingeniousness that you have acquired in a full incarnation cycle, and you have 2 of them. And here Saturn enters the picture. Again, Sun Jupiter is about self-luck, about personal luck. Saturn is about stamina and how you are determined to do what's best, how you accept hardships, duties, burdens, and how you can have a stand in life. And of course, Jupiter Saturn is about how to reach a balance, how to create proper balance in your life. So that's a brilliant little talent triangle. And on Saturn, you have two transcendental objects, 2 asteroids, Karma and Spartacus. Spartacus denotes revolt against slavery. Well, think about it, and because that's it, that's what's in there for us. If they really want this nice new digital world with digital currencies, no paper money, no freedom at all, and constant surveillance, it's going to be a slavery in every sense. And then Karma, the Lord of Karma, Saturn, is conjunct asteroid Karma. So this is a pivotal moment that we really need to look at and need to understand our choices and understand our potentials. And this is it. This is the time. And we don't have too much potential unless we are creating things for ourselves. This is the teaching of today. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.